ukaona kangoma kakuririza kanenge kapadhuze kupaduka. Muri Zimbabwe ndadzoka zvekare nema-updates manyama andinogara ndakakubatirai pachivhitivhiti chenyu 1 kuli and 1 chivhitivhiti. Iko zvinezvi regedzai timboonesana ka kuti chii chiri kutora nzvimbo. Paita tsamba panapa nyaya iri kunetsa kuti Kosei naChivayo vari kuramba vachifamba vari kumashure kwemutungamiri wenyika kwemukuru Chivayo Chivayo wakakosha, une ukosho unodarika wekukosha kwema vice president. Chivayo, what's wrong with you my guy? Izva zvipere mushizvi. Telefriend kuti Kulian is online regedza kuti vatangopinda muzitsamba riri kunyorwa panapa ratiri kuona pari kudaidzirwa kunzi my dear people, listen up my people. I saw the ZITF caucus in Bulawayo and wondered if I had missed a cabinet reshuffle. Why were our dignified VPs Chiwenga and Mohadi relegated to the background while Sewikno, a man with no public office but plenty of mysterious noise, played presidential bodyguard to Presidents Buko and Mnangagwa? It's unidentified while you a lot of crying over school fees and paracetamol. We have wealth being flaunted like a badge of honor without a day work in sight. Since when did flaunting become our national expect? We really need to do better, Zimbabwe. Munopenga, the strike by nurses which has paralyzed the public health sector and demonstrated for the time the incompetence of the dispensation of poverty, darkness and confusion after the hangers of the regime had boasted about the scarfed one bringing unbundled joy to civil servant with a salary increment. The nurses job action has exposed it for the hogwash. That claim is the strike symptomatic of the neglect by the scuffle regime of the health sector since being profiled into power on the back of guns and tanks. Under the scuffle regime's dismissal, leadership, public hospitals have become death traps. The current crisis only makes the undertaking by Health Minister Dagi to put helipads on top of public health institutions. All the more and laughable it smacks of gross neglect that this regime gives priority to buying top-of-range luxurious vehicles for chiefs at the expense of giving health workers a decent wage. With this level of ineptness, the bizarre move by the regime of looking to bar medical aid societies, subsidiaries, associated entity or related party from owning, managing, operating or holding a financial interest in a health provider, private hospital, specialist unit or facility look ever more ludicrous. A regime that cannot even provide basics such as bandages for patients has no business interference with medical aid societies that are providing a critical service of healthcare. It has failed to provide. It is frightening to behold that there are plans to extend such a driven by a day beyond 2028 through the pillaging of the constitution. Munopenga. The demonstration of trying to enhance the relevance of the funny money, otherwise known as Zimbabwe Gold Ziggy, has taken a comical turn. There were reports by the state media as well as one online publication that some fuel stations has begun accepting the funny money for fuel. Yours truly work from my snooze to hear details of this game-changing development. Alas, it turned out to be hot air, with the reports quoting petrol attendants who stridently requested anonymity in confirming such a landmark development. The reports even took a more bizarre turn when it failed to mention which fuel stations were accepting these currents. The excitement I had at the start of this report was completely deflated by the end of it, as it sounded more like a poor attempt to zig propaganda. It seems to have eluded the regime that the funny money acceptance will not work with such sponsored pieces of claptrap. Munopenga. The independence commemorations at Mapisa have come and gone with no shortage of drama. The donation of bicycles to all veterans by the scarfed one reinforced the belief of their reduced stature under the so-called Second Republic. At a time, comedians are receiving luxury 4x4 war veterans, some whom are 70 or above will have to have and buff on bicycles. The message from this contrast in donations sends the message that gestures are of far more importance than those who thought tooth and nail to free the country from colonial bondage. What an insult. The Grotsko statue of the late liberation icon and nationalist John Chiwenga added insult to injury. The state, which was made hardly by probably some unqualified bozos who got the job due to being politically connected, was rightly met by national outrage. Even presidential mouthpiece George could not hide his angst over such a short attempt to immortalizing Father Zimbabwe. The independence celebration included a soccer match between Scotland and Highlanders, which was played on a surface that resembled a potato patch. The players were lucky that they did not suffer from career-ending injuries on such a mud surface. If anything, the independence celebrations at Mapisa will be remembered more for his disdain of those who fought for the country by those who have their snouts family in the feeding tough. Muno Penga. The rejection of the 3.6 million contributions to the parliament by the blurry entrepreneur and ex-convict Weak Neo by the Youth League of the running ZANU-PF party was an interesting development. It is not every day that Weak Neo is told to shove his money where the sun don't shine. The donations, the Youth League told the ex-convict would compromise parliament on the eve of voting for the tearing apart of the country's supreme law for self-serving interests of scuffmore.com. Well, if the rejection of Weak Neo's donation was meant to preserve the integrity of parliament, it is a fatal exercise. Parliament has long been corrupted since the takeover of not so august house by unelected puppets of the regime. After the removal of opposition parliamentarians who had been voted for by the country's citizens, the current parliament with members who have been penned for incoherent arguments and snoozing during debates is well beyond redemption of any sort. Stop it. Muno Penga. Stop it. Dr. Amai PhD fake apedza zvake asikuzoti tsamba yakanyatsoyora Diane, but to be very honest kwatiri kusangana naye kwacho iri kwakasiyana siyana and tikutaura zve the most trending letter at the moment ndo iri kupisa izve, so yabva nekupi apeno ndasangana nayo kwakawanda kumabepa akasiyana siyana vakawanda wanda, especially vanhu kumana mapepa vamwe vacho chazinge havainyora kuchizoedza. But this is the situation right now. Hanzi munopenga kana tsamba yakutobudiswa chinzi munopenga aiwa panenge parwariwa zveshuwa. So this is the situation and izoti munozoona sei pari kuti bata-batoka imi motaura kuti zvoni chivhayo wakumira kumashure kwemanhingirikini kwashaya vamwe unomira kumashure kwapresident Chikwegwe uri bodyguard iri une office ipi saka waso special wasuperior kudarika ma vice president panda kuongororo pane nyaya yapapa.